BROtocol Joe.
Today's lab's pretty simple. We're going to troubleshoot power supplies. But I will warn you ahead of time, though the content of this lab is simple, finding the exact location of the cables and the different hardware might take a little tweaking as we go. So I'll try to keep it as concise as possible, but what we're going to do is we're going to first verify that this computer does not boot, and then we're going to test the power supply. So notice it is plugged in, and to verify we can go to the back of the computer, click here, and it is plugged in. So we at least have eliminated that it is not plugged into the wall. So we're going to turn it on. The computer failed to turn on. The first thing we're going to do is expand our inventory, go to tools. We're going to use a power supply tester. We're going to bring that over to the workbench. Above the computer, select the change view icon, which is this right here, and we're going to select the back view of the computer. Drag the power cord is going to be next. So the power cord right here is a power cord right there. We're going to drag that to the workbench so the computer is no longer plugged in. Now we're going to go to the drive bays. We're going to drag the power connector, which is this connector for both of them. We're going to also drag those to the workspace. We don't want to drag the computer. We're going to add those later, but right now we're going to drag those off. We're going to test the power supply. Above the computer, select the change view icon again, and we're going to select motherboard. Now we're going to select power supply, and notice the two cables connected from the power supply right here. You have the 20+4, and we have the 4 pin. From the motherboard, we're going to drag the connector, which is a power supply 20+4 pin CPU power connector, to this part of the power supply connector. It will move from there to there. Next, we're going to drag and move the 4-pin CPU power connector to the either 4, 6, or 8, which you can see here if you zoomed in, it's 4, 6, or 8. We just drop it in there. Next, from the selected item pane, drag an unconnected SATA 15 pin. This is where you kind of have to know what you're looking for. So we're going to go to inventory, partially connected, right here. It is a 15 pin power. Notice it's not connected. We're going to drag and drop it right there. So now we have the 20+4 pin, the 4 pin, and the SATA 15 pin. We're going to change the view again to the back of the computer. So now we're going to select the partial connections icon from the wall plate. Partial connections icon from the wall plate, and if I remember correctly, it was this. And so you'll notice here it is not connected. The male's connected, so let's connect the female. Now you can see that there are lights on the power supply. So let's zoom in and see what the power supply tester shows. You can see low voltage. You're not getting anywhere near the 12. It keeps bumping up from 9 to 11, 11.5. So that tells you this power supply is indeed bad. Next, we're going to remove the power supply. We're going to go to the back, and of course we have to remove the power, otherwise you will electrocute yourself. Next, we're going to go back into the motherboard. We're going to drag the bad power supply. We're going to drag it on the workbench, and we're going to add the good power supply. Inventory, go back to tools, power supplies, and we're going to click on this one. It is a power supply ATX 20+4 pin PCIe. So that is the correct power supply for this. I'm going to click and drag it to that side. Next, ensure that it is selected, and from the selected item pane again, we're going to drag the 20+4 pin to where it's supposed to be, right there. And then guess what? Yes, the 4 pin, it is not connected. We're going to drag and connect it right there. So our power supply is connected to the motherboard with the 20+4 pin and with the 4 pin connector. Next, we have to install those power cables from, if you remember, the drive bays. Tested, we removed the drive bay both for the optical drive and the hard drive. So what we need to do now is click on the partial connectors and go to power supply. When you see this pop up, you will have the 15-pin power from the SATA. It will drag and drop right there, and then another non-connected one you're going to drag and drop right there. Next, we have to trust but verify and provide power to the computer and then start the computer. Let's go back to the back of the computer, and if we recall, this top power male was the one to the computer and this female is not connected. So we're going to drag and drop that there. One thing that is tricky you might not have noticed, I will zoom in just to show you. Remember, 0 is off, 1 is on, it's the binary. One computer is clicked to off. So no matter what you did at this point, it would not power on. So let's click that on, and if we did everything correct, change this view to the front, and this computer should power on. So far, so good. Eventually it should power on, and there we go. We have fixed and replaced the bad power, and we are going to score a lab. Yes, we prepared and tested the power supply because we tested it and replaced it because it was faulty. So we tested, removed it, and installed a new power supply. Then we reconnected all the connectors that were going to the power supply and or motherboard, reconnected the power, turned it on with the power switch, and let's score this bad boy. We did everything correct. So that is the lab on troubleshooting power supply. We tested the power supply, we found out it was faulty, so we disconnected the power, replaced the power supply, did everything that we did but in reverse, connected everything back up, and it powered on like magic.